fucking place I've got to sit like this. You probably think you don't have to sit there, you can sit anywhere, but I can rest the iPad on this table. Anyway, I'm sat on a kid's chair again, so I'm bent over. What did I want to talk about? I wanted to talk about time, funnily enough. There's a clock behind. 25 to 5. It's like the fucking Freemasons compass now, I don't know. That coupled with my profile picture. It's funny actually, I was laughing about that the other day, you know how it started, I was laughing to myself about this, but you know just how crazy truthers can get wrapped up in things. And I'm going to have to pause that music for a minute. And you know how there seems to be a block with everybody, myself included, at some point where you get sidetracked by one type of truth that you may have come across, be that flat earth or whatever. But there's a sort of, see, I never had that because I'd never really, there's never been a moment where I've completely bought into anything that I've read in terms of ideologies about the nature of reality. The only things that I've really truly aligned with have been shared experience from people that have had psychedelics and how they view their lives afterwards. So it's like, there's a big part of me that's like, I don't know, you know, like, yeah, I'm just trying to think about what I want to speak about in future, and if I you know, if I want to go down a certain route, because what I've noticed, I'm going off on so many tangents now, but it doesn't matter. I've noticed that a lot of these spiritual type teachers, or people that seem to have got a good following, and you know, they're talking about awakening to 5D, say, as a grand sort of spectrum. I've noticed over the last couple of months or weeks that they've started being open and honest about their use of plant medicines or psychedelics, specifically like ayahuasca. And I noticed how Magenta Pixie was talking about, well, she was channeling, I think she was channeling, was she? I don't know. It's hard to tell because she's English, so it all sounds the same to me. She just sounds like a teacher. I find it hard to listen to, actually. But anyway, so she was talking, or channeling, I'm not sure which one, about this, I can't even remember what she called it. Maybe she called it crystalline DMT, maybe she said. I know that she was talking. So anyway, what she was sort of saying is that the nature of reality, or the dream within a dream, is all within and is experienced through, you know, the third eye when DMT is released. And you know, she called it a special type of DMT, related to, you know, the way we should be as humans, or galactic, or whatever, upgrades, whatever, or maybe the way we once were, and that we're just being restored to. What the fuck was my point here? You can tell I've not spoken for a while, can't you? Yeah, so my point was that, like, I think there's sort of slowly going to be, or maybe not, I'm just having a guess here, but you know, it's going to get to that point where it's like, that everyone will feel how you feel when you've had psychedelics, that, you know, that everything is an illusion pretty much. It's like, I've spoken about DMT a little bit, shit videos, old ones, but I would like to talk about it and explore it more in the future, because the idea of time being a construct, and you know, just the illusionary nature of everything, including solids, it does make you understand that you're all one, you know, in a way, and lots of healing is done, and lots of release of trapped emotions which are not serving you, and they're just so beneficial therapeutically. I know that from my, you know, experimentation with them, and increase in my mental health state since having them. I can also be honest enough with myself to understand the risks of, you know, legalisation, but for medical reasons, I just cannot wait. I cannot wait, because sometimes it's like there's like two different, well, there's many, isn't there, ways of awakening, but I guess there's the sort of pack of like, sometimes seem quite angry truthers, don't they, you know, and they're caught up on one of these things, and they're livid at the world, and, you know, they'll be saying, she's Illuminati, look, she's got a compass in the back, and a one-eye picture, and yeah, that's originally what I was starting to say, wasn't it, because I hate my face. I've always thought that half a face looked better of me on photos, and it does as well, look completely different, and you stick the other half on, you're like, oh, spoon face. But anyway, half a face I look quite decent. So for years I just always, like, if I ever had a profile picture and anything, it was just like half a face, and I was laughing my fucking tits off the other night thinking about people that, you know, would actually think that I'm Illuminati, or, you know, something threatening because of, I don't know, something I've painted in the background, or, you know, my profile picture or whatever. But that's where some angry people are stuck at, and it's like, you know, it's, what did I write down? I'm going to have a quick look at my notes. Have I spoken about DMT? I don't know if I got to this, because I did a few videos that didn't work earlier. So, I think I was talking about psychedelics, wasn't I? So, yeah, so they're hopefully going to be used in really beneficial ways, because in my opinion, if a few, like, really angry truthers just had, like, a really small proportion of mushrooms, magic mushrooms, and sat and thought about things, they would be, like, I had some really shit examples going through my head then, like Gandhi. It's like, who the fuck is Gandhi? Mahatma Gandhi. I don't know much about him, but I'm sure he's a shill as well. Phony, fake history. And I'm down with all that. But, you know, I don't want to look into it anymore, because all it does is make you grumpy. So many miserable people on YouTube, and they're talking about, and I've not looked into any of this, but, you know, 9/11 or JFK or mud floods, and they're so angry and grumpy, these people, and it's like, I feel like if you just gave them a little bit of mushrooms and just sat them down, or maybe a big fat joint, a bit of weed or something, and, you know, eventually a bit of time on their own, stop them doing and researching, sit them down, give them a little psychedelic trip and a chat to, you know, I don't think that they'd have the same onus on their beliefs after a good thorough look inside, because it seems that there's a point where, you know, you've just got to get back to the fact that all roads lead to home. You know, everything is back to you, and once you can let go of that, you know, last bit of darkness and judgment of others, and just ickiness with the world, and understand, you know, it's like, it's annoying, innit? 'Cause it's like, you awaken and then you have to fucking heal even more, like. Well, I mean, it's healing non-stop, isn't it? From the moment of awakening, I guess, isn't it? Because you're just relearning everything through fresh perception, and, you know, trying to make things better. Oh, so it's difficult, isn't it? I think I'll do a few videos on talking shit. But that reminds me of something that I was talking to the kid's dad about the other day, which was, you know, my jump from INFJ to ENFP or whatever on the Myers-Briggs thing. And we were laughing and we were talking about it, saying that it's sort of like, as you shed your layers of ego and you understand how to be a little bit more and a little bit more, you meet that little personality, that soul of yourself, and maybe everybody's a different, but, you know, the way he described his was the way that I feel mine, which is, you know, you get to that place where you can almost feel the little man dancing inside, you know, like in your tummy, little woman, little whatever, just going da da da, and it's like, you know, there's a part of me that is part of this thing inside there that is like an extrovert, because it understands that it's like one chance at this life, and it is like reality does seem to be an illusion, and it is possible to manifest and to sort of create really good things for yourself with nothing but the right attitude and the right emissions of frequency or vibration. And yeah, it just makes me think so much. And just about, you know, I've spoken about this in a video before, but I did relate it to, because when it first cropped up, it was coming in my head over and over again, and I actually remembered the places and the times that this sentence has been said to me, like over the last 10 years or something. And the sentence was, it only takes 15% of the population to start a revolution, or to make a revolution happen. I think it was to start a revolution. And anyway, and you know, I just always darkly, probably, you know, egoically thought that it could be rhesus negatives, you know, awakening. But and I do think that there is sort of extra heightened sensory abilities with rhesus negative people, and I think that's going to be a plus from now on. If society continues to awaken at the pace it is, it's going to be great. But it's been difficult for us to manage up until now, rhesus negatives. But anyway, regardless of that, the 15%, you know, it could literally just be, it could be anybody, can't it? You know, regardless of blood type, but it's where they turn from angry truther to just, you know, responsible, great all-rounder. I'm not there yet, I'm not saying I am, I'm not there. But, you know, it's that moment of forgiveness, and the switch is flipped then, and the importance of focusing on darkness or getting stuck on these theories and, you know, letting it become you in your life is fucking, it's crazy, it's prevalent, it's happening a lot, you can feel it off people, and it's like, oh, it's awful. That's kind of what I meant, you know, the other day when I was talking about seeing your own psyche unravel during YouTubers, because I listen to loads of different things, and it's funny because it doesn't, and I look back about how people's content started off maybe a couple of years ago or whatever, because everybody's on a different path, aren't they? And it's only been like 8 months for me, since March really, and a couple of years prior to that of slow sort of unveiling of the veil. But so, and you know, like I've said before, I didn't look at YouTube before I started posting on YouTube really. A couple of weeks I looked at YouTube before I started posting. So it's like, I don't know, I'm just really glad that I'm not searching for anything anymore, and I understand that my relevance in the world is very irrelevant but also very powerful, because I can do with that what I want. You know, I have the free will and the sovereignty and the understanding of things in a slightly different perspective than I have done before. A massive different perspective. But, you know, it just makes me excited for a future, because I think that I can change the future for myself, you know, and hopefully. Yeah. Because, like, we are writing our own stories. Let me have a look what else I was talking. I wanted to talk about time, because I'd just listened to something about time, and as I was listening, you know, you come up with your own sort of experiences and remembrances about that. So, what did I write here? It's all an illusion, comes back to that. Yeah, I sort of wanted to sort of clarify that, but I think I've sort of spoken about that in a roundabout way. But, you know, lots of people seem to get, and I sort of have done before. I didn't stay in it for very long, but I've had periods of time where I've really bought into one type of truth, or ideology or belief or conspiracy theory or whatever you want to call them. And, you know, it becomes you. It becomes you because you do that. And it's like, it took me ages to, well, it didn't take me that long actually. I realised that, you know, when you're in your weaker moments or you like stumble across a couple of gang stalking videos by accident, and you're like, oh, this is negative. It's, oh, for fuck's sake. And then, you know, and it's like, oh, well, while you're consuming that stuff, you know, you are looking around and you're noticing and creating things to go along with that script that you're believing in. It seems like that type of thing, you know, the gamer, the avatar, the person who is aware, the observer, has come to life, you know, with free will or sovereignty. And it's like, oh, it's bloody beautiful, but it also comes with a lot of responsibility. And so that's where it's like I know deep down now in myself that I've got, you know, there's lots of things that I want to do in my life, and you know, I should be having a go at, and you know, I'm stopping myself from doing these things for many different reasons, and I fucking kick myself for it every time. I kick myself for just, you know, allowing these bullshit illusions to stop me from being completely who I am and doing what I want to be. But anyway, because I know I'm capable of that now, you can't not do it. And so you go into slumps of waves of, oh my God, and, you know, because then you know things are different and you can make them different. But, you know, I think it's like good all-round advice to just ease up on yourself, like I've had to. And whenever I do, like the kids have just gone to the dad's and I've had a little joint, actually, about 4 drags of a joint. And yeah, I have so much come to me when I have a bit of weed, and I remember how beneficial it is. It's just like, oh. But I thought I might do another little video about that anyway. Yeah, so things like that, you know, psychedelics, weed, how I imagine these plant medicines to be used, you know, in aid of the awakening for people, to just, you know, set a few things in place for them and to release a few, you know, of the last sorts of traumas that are just so beneficial for people in these times. And I know MDMA is about to be signed off for clinical use, I think, for PTSD. And, you know, I'm all for any of this in safe environments when people have done the research and understand. I think they're incredible tools. So, I don't know what I think. I think maybe, I mean, I can't wait for weed to be legalised over here, because there's still a posh British dogma, misunderstanding, you know, idea about cannabis. And it's like we've got the fucking, it's a funny word, cannabinoid system within our bodies, haven't we? That just fits perfectly with CBD and THC, and, you know, just how that, you know, 2-3 little drags that I've just had completely aids you into more of a 4th or a 5th dimensional perspective in terms of how closely you look at things visually, and how your creative mind is switched on. And, you know, the internal judges, the, you know, the egos or the perceptions that we create ourselves are just switched off for a little bit. But, you know, everything's open to abuse, so people have to be careful and responsible. But, yeah, I can't wait, because I think things are going in the right direction, and it seems that, yeah, people are waking up with or without psychedelics, whereas I think it probably, you know, it was too much for them to handle back in the 60s and 70s, wasn't it? It's like they either turned into a hippie, or, you know, they went off the rocker because things weren't understood like they are now. So, yeah. I used to get these little voices in my head like, yeah, they should pump LSD into the taps and then treat with MDMA, clinical setting, if anything goes wrong. I'm joking, of course. But yeah, no, I'm interested in the future of psychedelic use and their similarities with, you know, mystical experience, spiritual awakenings, kundalini awakenings, and overall idea of reality being sort of an illusionary state of affairs, no matter how you define that, whether you know, think of it as a computer simulation, or whether you think of it as you've been contacted by God and you're now, you know, a chosen one or a sovereign being or whatever, you know. The more of that happens, 15% of the population get those vibrating and buzzing and understanding, you know, how to epigenetically change things for the positive. Like, I can't remember what it was. I heard something earlier and it was like, if you get, is it something like 7,000 people meditating, it can affect millions of crime rates go down by a fucking ridiculous percent. That was a crap relay of the information, but you get the gist. Like, yeah, so imagine 15% of the population, however many millions or billions that is, just sort of finally getting it and just being like, ah, it's like the world would change. I'm sure I wrote something down here. I always feel funny reading stuff out because it's like one of those moments where you're like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, and I don't think I'm anyone, I'm just reading what I wrote, I promise. But I put truthers, and then in brackets says always doing and researching. May all come around to that. I put it's all an illusion. It's all within. Forgive the dark in you and others, and embrace the light. You know, instead of getting stuck on one topic, angry and dualistic in beliefs, and start being. That we'll all eventually understand knowledge acquired about external symptoms. You know, whatever you're stuck on. So if it's looking at Freemasonry stuff or Jewish stuff. Oh, I stumbled across some shit the other night and I was like, whoa, stop watching that. I had to stop myself. That's what I mean, we're all on a journey. I was like, bloody hell. And Hitler, what? He was a good man. Some of you now will be like, what the fuck is she talking about? But anyway, I stopped watching it because I just couldn't be bothered. I understood that, you know, everything is a choice of what you sort of put in or out of your body and your mind and your heart and your soul. But anyway, so all eventually understand knowledge acquired about external symptoms, dark corrupt nature of the world, is to help them heal their own insides and experience love and life and love like no others. What was I banging on about there? Yeah, I think I was sort of feeling like, you know, when people get stuck on these dark matters, whatever it be, or even if it's not dark, but, you know, just proper conspiratorial and low vibe, I feel like whatever you get stuck on is there to eventually lead you back to yourself anyway, and everyone gets to that point where they're just bored of the information and you understand that you can never know, or you will learn no more, or, you know, whatever, you can only do so much about so much. And so to start, you know, focusing on yourself, accepting responsibility and living your life. Sounds easy, doesn't it? And it's fucking not. But anyway, I do think it's all an illusion, and it can be a beautiful one or an awful one. Vibration and vibrational revolution I wrote down, and evolution, to bring peace to earth, you know. Reach, I put reach. If enough people awaken to their soul and drop judgment, reach illusionary stage, like where you understand that in a very real but abstract way that, you know, everything is an illusion, reality is an illusion. The positive energy would change the world, yeah, 15% population, start a revolution, vibrational revolution and evolution, bring peace to the earth. Maybe that should be a rap. How fucking funny would that be? But that's what my mind does sometimes. It's like, I'd like to go in there now and write it all down and come back with some dreadlocks on and do it as a little rap, but instead I'm just droning on, trying to make sense and quietly, you know, thinking that everyone's judging me anyway, so why do we fucking bother? Anything else I want to say? I did write down here, of course you fucking did, I don't know if I mentioned it at the start of this, but just, you know, my experience of time and how it's a ruiner of experience for sure in many ways. I'll probably do a separate video about that. I've probably said that already. But just, I wrote down time is space. It's like, time is just a concept to box you in, to stop the flow, and it doesn't exist. It is a ruiner. It's a fucking ruiner for me. If I'm having a great moment, you know, and then it will come to an end because the clock dictates and the society dictates and educational systems dictate, and, you know, it's all, the concept of time is all, it's in every part of our lives that, you know, you're considered nuts if you think time is an illusion, and it's just a space. It's just a space, or a distance, or, you know, a period of time of an experience, and yeah, it's like a flow stopper, the observation of time. When you notice time, something changes. Anyway, bloody blah. Anything else? Oh, I'm just looking at time now and I'm thinking, oh, 27 minutes talking. You may as well stop. But at least I've got it all out. I might have to look at this before I post it. I wanted to do a few different videos with different topics on, but I think I've just talked shit and merged them all together. Bollocks. Never mind. Happy Wednesday.